Bangladesh is voting on Thursday in its first election since an uprising drove out authoritarian leader Sheikh Hasina. The major question is, how will her supporters vote? Her party, the Awami League, has been banned, leaving the centre-right BNP and the Islamist Jamaat-e-Islami competing for their support. Young people, crucial to the uprising, are also largely without an obvious political home. DW's special correspondent Nimisha Jaiswal meets voters looking for a party.
Posters and symbols of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party are everywhere in this old Dhaka neighborhood. People here tell us they were illegally prevented from voting when the Awami League was in charge. So they're excited to finally vote freely again.
We were under extreme persecution. After 17 years, we're now doing better. Our prayer to Allah is that BNP will be victorious and we will come to power.
If this is a fair election, God willing, the BNP will win many seats and form the government.
Others are less enthusiastic.
The BNP was excluded before. Now the Awami League is being excluded. So what's the difference? People like us are basically being forced into a limited choice. There aren't enough options. It would be better if there were more choices.
Although the credibility of the last 3 elections nationwide has been challenged, on paper, in this area, the Awami League has won everything since 2008. And yet, it seems nearly impossible to find anyone here who will admit to supporting them. In the last couple of hours, we've spoken to dozens of people, but none of them have said that they are Awami League supporters. Many refuse to come on camera, saying that they are afraid of the consequences. This area has been peaceful since Sheikh Hasina's government was deposed in 2024. But everyone has heard reports of violence against Awami League supporters. Mohammed Khokon is the first person we find who admits he's ever voted for the Awami League.
When it was Awami League's time, I voted for them. Then came the BNP's turn, and I voted for them too. You know how it is. For instance, right now, there is a wave of support for BNP and the Jamaat.
It takes until dark to find a dedicated Awami League supporter who'll talk to us. And he asks that we hide his face. He says people like him are scared of repercussions for having supported Hasina. We were just in the process of setting up for an interview with an Awami League supporter, but we are now on the move yet again because there was a BNP rally close by and he didn't consider it safe for him or for us to continue the interview there. Once we find a quiet spot, he tells us he's not going to vote since his party is not on the ballot. But he says if his fellow Awami supporters had to choose, they'd never pick the Islamist Jamaat-e-Islami, with which his party has had a historic animosity.
Jamaat is not a party from Bangladesh. They are supporting from Pakistan.
He also suggests Awami League supporters might be kept out of the polling booths, though he denies evidence that Hasina's regime did that to opponents. He says that those who are able to vote would likely help the BNP.
If they give the permission to go inside the vote center, then they will be benefited. Because Awami League people, if they don't want to give the vote Jamaat, so definitely also going to vote for BNP.
Student leaders Abdul Qadir and Anika Tehsina spent many days in 2024 here, outside Dhaka University, helping organize the protest movement that took down Hasina. They're hopeful their efforts will lead to a free and fair election. But they're worried about potential election interference and violence.
Look, no political party led the July uprising. It was ignited and led by the students. And it was the ordinary people who took to the streets to ensure its victory. So existing parties are under pressure. They know if they ignore these aspirations, they will be thrown into the dustbin of history, just like the Awami League.
I really want the female candidates to be in the parliament. I'm really rooting for them. Yeah, it's my first time of voting, so I'm really excited. But in my area, there is no female candidate. What actually saddens me is that we are again back into the binary political culture because there is no, third party or a new party.
There are 41 million first-time voters in this election. Some tell us that under the Hasina regime, they were turned away from their polling booths. Others are only now old enough to vote. Here at Dhaka University, those who agreed to talk to us said that they were excited to vote in an election that was finally free and fair after almost 2 decades. But those who did not want to come on camera said that they will not be voting because they don't really see that much changing. 127 million people in Bangladesh are eligible to vote. How many of them actually do will show how far the two leading parties have convinced them they can be trusted with the country's future.
DW Special Correspondent Nimisha Jaiswal filed that report and joins us now from Dhaka. Nimisha, what's the mood there on the eve of voting?
Well, Gerhard, it is relatively quiet here by Dhaka standards because today and tomorrow has been declared a national holiday to encourage people to come out to vote, and campaigning was stopped already yesterday morning because there's a 2-day silence period and political parties can't be out and about. But the city is still flush with lots of campaign posters, and when it comes to the people we've been talking to do seem to be excited about the fact that this is a vote happening after Sheikh Hasina's regime fell and all the votes under her were considered to be rigged and ballot stuffing was alleged in that time. But there are, of course, also concerns. The Youth Revolution wanted new structures, but the two leading parties are seen as old guard parties. And there's also concerns about the threat of violence. Depending on whoever wins, there are possibilities of clashes.
Now, what motivates these 41 million first-time voters most?
Well, a lot of them are, of course, young voters. We're standing here in Dhaka University. We spent time here in earlier days too. And a lot of these students who were behind the youth protest movement that led to Hasina's fall tell us that they really want freedom of speech, freedom of space. They want a corruption-free government. They want more education to be focused on. Some want India's influence to be reduced. That came up a lot. Others said that we want peace with our neighbors. But once again, they do seem to be struggling to find a party to truly throw their weight behind. Some also said that they don't expect that much to change, so they might not actually vote.
Now, the youth protesters, are they consolidating behind any coalition yet?
Well, it's interesting, Gerhard, because that youth protest birthed the NCP party, the youth party. But when that party allied with the Jamaat-e-Islami, which is an Islamist party, many of those young protesters exited that party and felt like they no longer had a home, thanks to the fact that they felt like the NCP was aligning with the Conservative Party. But there is hope still there is a belief amongst the students that their pressure on these parties will have an effect on how these parties carry out their plans. They've said that none of the parties led that protest and that they owe these students an obligation to carry out any future government in a way that these students and these young people can truly be impressed with. One point to note here, they're very disappointed with the lack of women participation when it comes to the candidates being fielded. Only about 4% women candidates being fielded here.
Are there any early signs to look out for that will show swing voters' true direction?
Well, it does seem turnout overall will indicate how enthusiastic people are and how much the BNP and Jamaat have been able to convince these voters to really come out and vote. There does seem to be an indication when it comes to polling, exit polls. When it comes to polling that has happened so far, that Jamaat and BNP are pretty neck and neck. Whoever we talk to seems to be pretty confident that they're going to be the winners. The BNP, of course, having a shot at power after a very long stint, and the Jamaat was actually banned for decades. So whoever comes into power will definitely be forming a new Bangladesh. Now, of course, the hope is that it's also a reformed Bangladesh when it comes to concerns like corruption as well as repression of free speech.
Nimisha Jaiswal there on Election Watch in Bangladesh. Thank you very much for your reporting.